The Galactic Empire's council chamber buzzed with a low hum of energy as Ambassador Jacob Reeves stood tall before the alien dignitaries. His composure was a stark contrast to the hostility radiating from the Empire's representatives. The room was an architectural marvel, filled with shimmering metals and strange, bioluminescent designs, a reminder of the technological chasm between humanity and the Empire. Yet Reeves, clad in a simple Earth-made suit, showed no sign of intimidation. The lead representative of the Empire, Grand Viceroy Tazek, rose from his towering seat. His voice boomed with contempt. Humanity, a fleeting anomaly in the vast expanse of the galaxy. You dare request a place among us? What could your fragile species possibly offer the Empire? Reeves held his ground, his tone measured and diplomatic. We offer coexistence, a partnership built on mutual respect and shared prosperity. Humanity does not seek conflict. Tazek's lip curled in a sneer, his alien features twisting into an expression that needed no translation. Prosperity? You presume to bargain as equals when you are but an insect before our might. He gestured to his aides, who activated a hologram depicting Earth alongside detailed scans of its defenses. This is the extent of your strength, a mere handful of orbital platforms and rudimentary fleets. Pathetic. Reeves' jaw tightened, but his calm demeanor remained unshaken. Strength isn't solely defined by technology or numbers. It's defined by character, resolve, the will to protect one's home and people. Underestimating humanity would be a grave mistake. Tazek leaned forward, his gaze piercing. A mistake? No, Ambassador. The mistake was allowing your kind to crawl beyond your planet. Your presence here insults the Empire. He gestured sharply, and a detachment of armored guards stepped forward. Diplomatic immunity ends now. The guards seized Reeves before he could react. The sudden surge of energy shackles around his wrists brought a grimace to his face. You can't expect this to go unanswered, Reeves said, his voice steady despite the situation. Tazek smirked. Your people will do nothing. Your threats are hollow and your species is weak. You exist at our mercy. As Reeves was dragged away, he met Tazek's gaze one final time. If you believe that, you've already lost. The broadcast of Reeves' capture reached Earth within hours. Across the globe, people watched in silence as their ambassador was paraded as a trophy. The Empire's demands were clear: unconditional surrender and subjugation, or humanity would face annihilation. The United Nations Defense Council convened in an emergency session, their faces pale with fear. Yet as the grim deliberations unfolded, a single voice broke through the despair. It was General Elena Markov, her words sharp and resolute. Enough. We've spent centuries squabbling among ourselves. But this is a threat to every human life. If we stand divided, we fall. If we unite, we make them regret ever underestimating us. In that moment, humanity found its resolve. The Empire had captured one man, but in doing so, they had awakened an entire species. Across Earth, a transformation began. Governments that had once been at odds now stood united under a single purpose: survival. The Empire's message had done more than intimidate. It had galvanized humanity. Borders dissolved as resources, knowledge, and manpower were pooled into a collective war effort. The once fractured world found a singular voice, one of defiance. Factories worked around the clock, repurposed to churn out ships, weapons, and defenses. Engineers collaborated with scientists, leveraging every fragment of alien technology humanity had scavenged in the past decades. What the Empire saw as primitive, humans saw as a foundation to build upon. Advances that would have taken decades were accelerated into months. Plasma-based weaponry, enhanced propulsion systems, and electromagnetic countermeasures, all birthed from necessity. In underground bunkers and orbital command stations, humanity's greatest minds devised a plan. They didn't have the Empire's numbers or raw power, but they had adaptability, ingenuity, and an unshakable will. General Markov, now the de facto leader of Earth's defense forces, stood before a room filled with military strategists, scientists, and political leaders. Her voice was steady, her eyes blazing with determination. The Empire believes us to be weak because we do not fight like them. Let's prove them right. We won't fight like them, we'll fight smarter, harder, and with every ounce of rage they've just ignited. They expect us to cower, but we'll strike where they least expect it. This is not just war. This is survival, and humanity does not go quietly. Markov's words echoed through Earth's networks, reaching billions. Civilians took up arms, trained to defend their cities and homes. Pilots volunteered in droves, prepared to pilot untested spacecraft. Resistance fighters from war-torn regions lent their experience in guerrilla warfare. The world had never seen such unity. In a classified facility deep in the Andes, scientists unveiled humanity's first answer to the Empire's overwhelming firepower: the Aegis EMP cannon. Designed to disable enemy ships without destroying them, it was a weapon of precision rather than brute force. "This is the start," said Dr. Arun Malik, one of the lead engineers. "They have power, but we'll take their power away." Piece by piece, preparations weren't without sacrifice. Resources meant for rebuilding shattered economies were diverted to the war effort. Entire industries were repurposed, leaving billions in uncertainty. Yet no one protested. They understood the stakes. They understood the cost of failure. As the first wave of human-built warships prepared to launch, Markov addressed the fleet. Her voice carried across every channel, her words a rallying cry for a united species. "Today we take the fight to them. They think us small, but they've forgotten the strength of a cornered people. Let them see the fire that burns in humanity's heart. Let them understand the price of underestimating us." The fleet, unpolished but deadly, roared into the stars. This was no longer about survival alone. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity was not a species to be trifled with. The Empire's mistake had sparked something unstoppable. The first strike came without warning. A coordinated assault on the Empire's supply lines crippled key trade routes. Human ships, designed with stealth modules and armed with unconventional weaponry, emerged from the void like phantoms. The attacks were swift and brutal, leaving Empire fleets scrambling to respond. Their arrogance had left them unprepared for the sheer audacity of humanity's tactics. Empire commanders were used to direct confrontations, battles fought with overwhelming firepower and rigid formations. Humanity offered none of that. Instead, they waged war in shadows and chaos. Ambushes in asteroid fields, hit-and-run assaults on resource stations, even using derelict ships as decoys rigged with explosives. For every step the Empire took, humanity forced them to take 2 steps back. At the heart of these efforts were the Aegis EMP cannons, deployed in surgical strikes that left enemy ships dead in space. Without power, the Empire's once mighty vessels became vulnerable, their crews captured or abandoned to the void. These victories were more than strategic, they were psychological. The Empire, accustomed to dominance, now faced an enemy that refused to fight by their rules. But the Empire's response was swift and merciless. Their fleets, vast and heavily armed, retaliated by targeting human colonies and outposts. Entire settlements were razed, millions lost in an instant. On Earth, grim news of these losses spurred even greater resolve. Humanity did not mourn quietly. They turned their grief into fury. The turning point came during the siege of Tau Ceti, a human-controlled system the Empire had marked for annihilation. Outnumbered 5-1, the human fleet was seemingly doomed. Yet they held their ground, using the system's dense asteroid belt to their advantage. Pilots flew perilously close to the asteroids, forcing the Empire's ships into narrow kill zones. When the Empire finally committed their main fleet to the battle, humanity sprung their trap. Using coordinated EMP blasts, they disabled the enemy's flagship and several escorts, leaving them vulnerable to a devastating counterattack. Human ships, battered but determined, swarmed the incapacitated vessels, unleashing a torrent of firepower. The Empire's fleet retreated, marking their first major defeat. For the first time, cracks appeared in the Empire's facade. Reports of unrest spread through their territories, whispers of an enemy too stubborn to be crushed. Empire leaders dismissed these concerns publicly, but privately, they began to realize the depth of their mistake. Humanity, however, refused to relent. They pushed harder, striking deeper into Empire-controlled space. Every victory, no matter how small, was celebrated not just as a tactical success but as proof that they could win. For every ship they lost, 3 more were built. For every life taken, 10 more rose to fight. The war was no longer a battle for survival. It had become a battle for respect, for recognition that humanity was not prey but a predator. In the darkness of space, where the Empire once reigned supreme, humanity's defiance burned brighter than ever. They weren't just surviving, they were winning. The final assault was not born out of desperation but of meticulous planning and unrelenting resolve. Humanity had learned, adapted, and now stood ready to strike at the heart of the Empire. The target, the Imperial capital, a fortress world surrounded by fleets so vast they blotted out the stars. To the Empire, it was impenetrable. To humanity, it was an opportunity. The fleet assembled for the assault was unlike any Earth had launched before. Ships bristling with weapons, reinforced with armor reverse-engineered from captured alien vessels, and equipped with technologies uniquely human in their ingenuity. Coordinated under a unified command, they moved with precision, each captain knowing the stakes and embracing them fully. As the human fleet approached the capital, the Empire responded with overwhelming force. Waves of enemy ships surged forward, their superior firepower and numbers a stark reminder of the odds. But humanity had not come to fight conventionally. The first wave of human ships acted as decoys, drawing the Empire's attention while the main fleet executed a bold maneuver, slipping into the system undetected through a corridor of gravitational anomalies mapped by human scientists. Once inside, the battle unfolded in brutal clarity. Human ships targeted critical infrastructure, communication arrays, power grids, and orbital defenses. The Aegis EMP cannons were deployed once more, crippling key defensive platforms and leaving gaps for strike teams to exploit. The Empire fought back fiercely, but their rigid strategies faltered against humanity's fluid, unpredictable tactics. On the ground, resistance forces launched an assault on the Imperial Palace. These operatives, equipped with stealth suits and precision weaponry, weren't there to conquer but to deliver a message. Among them was a holographic projection, a recording of Jacob Reeves made before his capture. "If you're seeing this," his voice declared, calm and resolute, "then know that humanity does not forget. We do not forgive betrayal, and we do not bow to tyrants. You sought to break us, to subjugate us, but all you've done is forge something stronger than you could imagine. The Empire will fall not because of our weapons or ships, but because of our will. A will you cannot destroy." The message, broadcast across the Empire, ignited chaos within their ranks. Dissent and fear spread like wildfire as the myth of their invincibility shattered. The capital's defenses crumbled as the human fleet pressed its advantage. By the time the Imperial leadership surrendered, their fleets scattered and their worlds in rebellion, it was clear the war was over. Humanity had not just survived, they had triumphed. The Empire was forced to sign a treaty recognizing humanity as equals, a moment that echoed across the galaxy. Back on Earth, the celebrations were subdued, marked more by reflection than revelry. The cost of victory was steep. Entire colonies lost, countless lives sacrificed, but the legacy of their struggle was undeniable. Humanity had proven that no matter how vast the enemy, no matter how dire the odds, they would endure. As Earth's leaders looked to the stars, they did so not with fear but with confidence. The galaxy now knew humanity would not be underestimated again.